in this session we're going to show you how to set up the SOA customization. So what we do is we go to the cogwheel at the top right and we scroll down to SOA customization. Now in terms of setting up Advicemonster, this is probably the most important and the most powerful function or facility that you will use. And to be honest, when you first get Advicemonster, you do need to spend a bit of time to set this up so it's customized and set up for your organization and your FAP. So we click on the SOA customization, and here we can make a few changes. Now the first thing we can do is we can change the theme settings, and what we can do here is that you can change the report heading to either make it black or dark blue, and we can change the report table customization. So we can have our tables like this in a blue or white setup, or I can change that to a black and white setting. Now more importantly, in the report content settings section, what we take is the SOA and we break it up into the various sections of the SOA. Now there's a few things we can do. The first thing is we can add a page break between each section. So when these are on, it will automatically put a page break at the end of each section. Just makes your SOA look a lot more tidy and more professional. In some sections where the content is very small, we could lump them together and don't have a page break in between. The next item you can do is you can hide or display certain sections in your report. So for example, if you do not want to run our cover page, you can permanently switch that off, and therefore the cover page will no longer run when you use that SOA. Now this part here, you are able to view and edit each part of the within each section. So the only thing you cannot edit is the table of contents, which is automatic. Now if you want to edit, for example, and I would suggest that you start off with those sections that have items highlighted in yellow. So an example would be the product provider options. If I click on that pencil, I am able to view and edit. And what this does, it opens up the section, and I have my title here, which I can rename, and I have the content of that particular section. Now you will see these lines highlighted in yellow, and as I indicated, you would probably set this up. So for example, if I have an agency with AIA, Astron, Chubb Life, for example, and so on, I would put that information in there. I can also add in whatever other text I wanted into this, and very usefully you can add these fields that come through our needs analysis calculator. So if, for example, I wanted to include the date of meeting, I can put that in there, and then I can add more text, and if I wanted to, I could highlight that particular text and change the color. So for example, every time that report's run, it's going to be highlighted in blue, for example. So every time I run this report, it's going to have this information, this text, it's going to have this text, it's going to put the date of the meeting, and it's going to have this text highlighted in a different color. So you can see an example here below where it puts in the report expiry date by default. So this means you can set this up the way that you want it, with whatever format, whatever content that you want, and you can change the order of this content. So make sure you save and close to keep those changes. And you can move those sections up and down to a different area. So if I didn't want that there, I can drag it to a different part of the statement of advice if I wanted to. Now I can also create a new section. So if I wanted to add a new template in there, I can put in a test. For example, I can put in my own content, create whatever I want, have these fields flow through, and create it whatever way I want, and I just remember to need to click on save and close, and that new section will automatically come to the bottom of the list. And obviously I probably don't want it at the bottom of the list. I want to drag it halfway up or wherever I want. I can just drag that up in the list and drop it off anywhere. So you'll be able to see in this particular example that I've done this test example a few times. And I'm just going to drop this off in that particular area. And I'm going to put it there, and every time I run this report, this particular section will run because it's set on display, but I'm going to just turn that off and hide that. Now another important feature is you are able to preview the SOA. So I highly recommend that once you've made these changes, you preview the SOA report so you know exactly what it's going to look like before you start using it in front of clients. So make sure you check out our next video on how we use some of these other functions, or have a look through our library of content of other videos.